So you
Yeah.
can just be amongst those same people. And plus, there's plenty of room. There's plenty of room for all of us.
Yeah.
So don't get discouraged. Some people were considering the idea that there's more people to compete against. It's like, well,
Mm.
this has always been true in the test of time. Like, I don't know why people try to find reasons not to do stuff. That's if you're my student, I always tell you find reasons to keep painting. Don't find reasons not to paint.
Yeah.
So, for instance, not feeling motivated is a reason not to paint.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not a good one. This is a very silly one, right? I don't feel
Yeah.
motivated. Well, guess nothing, no work is done today. You know,
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense. If you just think about it at a practical, like you'll get you'll get in the habit of just drawing even if you feel like crap.
Mm.
You know what I mean? That takes
Yeah.
effort too to get good at trying to draw when you don't want to draw. Like
Mm.
everything takes effort. But like I said before, the more you do something, what happens, right?
Yeah.
And it's not just art; it's just everything. Like if you don't feel like drawing stuff, um, then just do it anyway because you know it's going to be
Yeah.
good for you. And then eventually, drawing stuff all the time is just natural. You just do it. You don't even think about it.
Okay. Awesome.
For me, like I draw all the time, right? Like I just draw.
Yeah.
Like there's never a time that I'm not drawing or thinking about drawing or thinking about art, you know,
Mm.
or how I can
Yeah.
teach people how to be better at art. And if I'm not teaching people or learning how to teach people, I'm sorry, if I'm not teaching people or painting, I'm learning how to teach people, learning how to get into like look into different softwares or different programs. Like I started doing this thing, Roll20, where
Mm.
you can submit work to this website. I just submitted it for application. We'll see how it goes. I did these little like top-down views of like zombies. You see that?
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, because it's basically a market where you can sell these types of things on there, and people use the digital version of these for their tabletop game, the digital tabletops.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, and if it
That's
works
so
out,
cool.
yeah, and if it works out, and I make a reasonable amount of money, and reasonable for me is if I can make about $100 off of all the work that I did there, or
Yeah.
that's the minimum for me to feel that it's viable for my students to start doing. Um,
Yeah.
and then if I make $200, then that starts to say it's really viable. And if I make about $500, um, or actually I spent about 3 to 4 hours, and I charge about 50 hours to 100 hours an hour. So if I was going for the $50 an hour,
Yeah.
then I need to make at least $200. And if I make $200, then that work has paid for itself.
Yeah.
You get it? That
Yeah.
means that every hour I spend on making those things, I get my money back, or I get paid for that work. And if that's the case, then I say, hey guys, you can do this now. You can make a living making your own stuff.
Yeah.
You know? And all I do is just inch by inch look stuff up, you know?
Mm.
I know you guys aren't doing it for whatever reason, so I have to do it for you. And then and it's like I'm not doing anything crazy. I just constantly look, you know?
Yeah.
Like I said, if you do something a lot, just things surface. It's just how it works, man. Um, like if you go to a lot of events, then you're just gonna meet a lot of people. It's just how it
Yeah.
works. If you
That's what I need to start doing as well.
if you put your
Just
artwork on all kinds of websites, people are going to find your artwork. It's just how it
mm.
works. You know, maybe like if you post your artwork and nobody sees it and nobody cares, it doesn't mean that no one will ever care. It
Mm.
just means right at that moment no one cares. But
Yeah.
maybe that one person that's not your mom does, and you're like, oh great, I got that one person that's not my mom.
Yeah.
And so, like in my Instagram account, for instance, when I first started it, I barely had like 1,000 people, which is a lot. But a lot of those people
Mm.
came from my Facebook,
Yeah.
and I left it there, and it stayed there for like like a year, I think. It was at like barely at 5,000, I think, and it was just from my Facebook people following me, and I had a few images there. And then when I took it seriously, then when I went in there and I started putting tons and tons of artwork on there,
Mm.
I went from 5,000 to 50,000 in about a year. But
Yeah.
that's like a year of just like off and on, just putting out artwork every other day or like at least once a week,
Mm.
you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I had a friend a good friend of mine, he's asking me like, because he's like, how do you get like, exposure and how did you get so many followers? And I was like, I get asked that question a lot, and unfortunately the answer is really easy. I just post as often as I could and as
Mm.
consistent as I could.
Yeah.
Truth has been, like when I started up my classes again and started doing Gumroad tutorials again, I
Mm.
went from making about what was it, like $500 a week, which is a lot of money to just not be doing anything, right?
Yeah.
But that's because I have a lot of videos out and people find it, trickle in and out, right?
Mm. Yeah.
But once I started promoting and doing streams again, my classes sell out like almost instantaneously, and
Yeah.
then my Gumroad sells like almost quadrupled, right?
Mm.
That's including because I made new videos, but it just doubles down when I'm always talking and I'm online because it's just the product of exposure. The more you're
Yeah.
around, the more there's opportunity for people to find you, the more your thing's going to get exposed. And there's nothing secret about it. I mean, there's some subtleties that I can definitely get into, but that won't matter until you guys probably start doing your own stuff. But
Mm.
but the grand scope of the problem that you're getting at is just start doing it, man. Just start
Yeah.
doing a lot more
Okay.
than you're doing,
Mm.
regardless. And I'd say, here's another. I'm gonna send you another conundrum right now. Before I, yeah, let's do it right now. I'm gonna show you two options. Okay, and here's another problem that I see people run into. I'm gonna show you two options. Option one, wake up 1 hour early. Okay,
Yeah.
that's it. Okay, number two, wake up 1 hour early. Right? Let's paraphrase. I don't want to write all that stuff out. And then, you know, make breakfast, right? Go to the gym, 2 hours of study, 1 hour of painting / work, lunch, go for a walk. Yeah, and let's say there's like several other things, and go to bed at
Yeah.
10 p.m. or whatever. Let's say you have option one and option two. Which one is the more attractive option? Which one is the one that you think you should do?
Well, two is what I should do, but yeah.
It's a trick question, yeah.
Yeah.
Number two is what people would think that they should do. And most of you
Yeah.
guys probably thought that's the one that you got to do, right? Nope.
Mm.
The one you got to do is number one, because that's the one that's not going to freaking paradigm shift your whole life.
Yeah.
The paradigm shifting of your life is, again, like the whole motivation, inspiration thing. It's just the shooting star idea, man. It's just too much, too fast. You got to just
Yeah.
start small. Say, okay, I want to draw more often. AJ said I need to draw more often. So I'm not going to just start drawing 10 hours a day just because, because I
Yeah.
wasn't doing that before. I'm not going to all of a sudden just do that out of nowhere because clearly
Yeah.
motivation and inspiration does not work, right? But
Right.
perseverance and patience, I got to earn that. So first thing is maybe if I wake up 1 hour early, I'll have that 1 hour
Mm.
extra, and I can do whatever I want with that 1 hour. But the thing is, I need to wake up 1 hour early. I can waste that
Yeah.
1 hour. I can use it useful, but I'm just going to wake up 1 hour early just to see what happens. And then you wake up 1 hour early, and you find you have half an hour of time that you can actually try to do some doodles. So you just say, okay. So then you add that to your list of things now, right? Like
Yeah.
half an hour sketch, right? And then you just do this for like a week, maybe even a month, you know?
Yeah.
And then you say, oh, I could probably make that an hour sketch, right? And the next thing you know,
Yeah.
you do like 3 hour sketches easily in a day. Easily, because you've earned it. You've built up to it. And then you can start saying, oh, I need to start working out too. I've always wanted to get working out. So why don't I do this? 15 minutes of working out. That's actually something that I need to start doing again because ever since I've been really sick, I haven't been working out a lot. So I told
Mm.
myself I'm going to start doing jumping jacks. I'm going to start doing 100 jumping jacks every day.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to go buy a jump rope. I'm going to go get like a ab roller. I'm going to get I was like already thinking option two. I was like, or I could just do the most easiest, most non-invasive thing get me back into it, which is just jumping in place 100 times. I can do that right now.
Yeah.
There's nothing stopping me from doing that. That won't take more than
Mm.
10 minutes, you know?
Yeah.
And it'll get my heart rate going, and it's good exercise. Jumping jacks is good. And I don't have to buy. Basically, that's all you're doing with the jump rope. Anyways, Do you see the difference?
Yeah,
And I've
definitely.
tested this, man. I've tested this out. Like I talked about this with juggling, right? Like I went from not knowing how to juggle
Yeah.
to juggling in about a month's time by just juggling 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes every day.
Mm.
And now I know how to juggle.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, the more time you put into something, the faster you'll get at it.
Yeah.
That's definitely true. But that's the whole patience thing is.
Yeah.
Like, why are you in such a hurry? You know, some people are generally in hurries because they have real good reasons to be. But ask
Mm.
yourself, do you really need to be in a hurry, or can you just take your time and just earn it and not
Yeah.
sacrifice things like your actual time with friends and family and your health?
Mm.
Because for me, like that's what happened with me. I started sacrificing my health, started sacrificing my friends and family time, you know,
Yeah.
and now I'm,
Yeah.
I'm getting that stuff back. I'm like working backwards. I'm working smarter, not harder type of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So the whole point of me doing all this stuff and working hard was to try to be successful. And I realized success, the way that I gauged it, was not the success I actually wanted.
Right.
Okay, so hopefully
Right.
that helps you out. I'm sure that helps others too. It's not just that's a good question to ask. So thanks for asking it.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? Yeah, I like this brush. I approve. You can stay. I'll allow it.
Hey, Anthony, good question about anatomy.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Like your work is extremely organic in a way. Like you draw like really good, just scan just body in general. And I was wondering, what reference do you use? Do you use photographs? Do you use live people?
I use
How
a
you
lot.
approach that?
Yeah, I use everything and anything, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have about like 17 anatomy books, both
Mm-hmm.
for animals,
Okay.
and for humans, right?
Uh-huh.
And I've gone through probably 10 of them like vigorously, and other ones I
Yeah.
just kind of rummaged through whenever I had. But then I
Mm-hmm.
also have like hundreds. I mean, there was a point where I had like thousands, maybe tens of thousands of references
Mm-hmm.
of like
Wow.
of just like anatomy reference, and then my Pinterest board is getting there now too. It's getting to
Mm-hmm.
really high. So like, yeah, I mean, wait, hold on just a second. My daughter's in the restroom. Hold on. Let me go wipe her.
Oh man.
All right, I'm back. Um, yeah, so yeah, I just have a lot of reference. I use a lot of
Mm-hmm.
reference. I tell people that I use reference all the time, and what I mean by that is that sometimes it's internalized, sometimes it's not.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is like sometimes I just don't know, so I have to go look at reference. You know, and
Yeah.
that's a real true statement of like an artist is that um, they're okay with not knowing, and then they can go get the knowing. And I think like for me, whenever people ask like kind of reference do I use, what do I prefer, I like to try to answer that question by saying uh, everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the whole idea is gathering knowledge, right? It'd be foolish to
Yeah.
just be like, I only look at life drawing, right? Or it'd be foolish to say I only look at photos,
Yeah.
right? It's like scientists don't think this way, at least not the good ones, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like scientists are like, but what if? Scientists say this is the evidence as it is now, but we could always be wrong. You know,
Yeah.
and they look at every aspect of it and they try to find more answers. And that's the way I approach art. I think of it as a scientist. Um, are there benefits and advantages to different kinds of reference? Of course, but that's the point. You won't know that unless you ventured into it, right? I tell people, like, think of it like a shortcut is a shortcut because all the other routes are not as they're just not as short, right?
Yeah.
Taking a shortcut without knowing why it's a shortcut is actually not useful to you at all. Because then one day someone's going to say, okay, well, we can't take the shortcut anymore. We have to take the long route. And you're like, I don't know where the long route is. You know?
Mhm.
And so then you're stuck. You have to go through that route anyway. Make sense?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And so
Do you have... Okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, so I usually recommend people, whenever they want to get better at their anatomy, or I usually recommend people study a lot of anatomy. I spent like a 2 weeks once. I just like brute forced it because I had like been told by several people that my anatomy sucks in that week,
Mhm.
and I was like, all right, I guess my anatomy sucks. And so then I got 2 sketchbooks and I filled those sketchbooks up. What were you gonna say? What was your question?
Oh, I was gonna ask, do you have any preferred, say, online places where you look for reference, or do you just Google them? I know Pinterest is probably one.
Google, but Pinterest is right now my favorite.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like
Okay.
it's like a more tailored, like professional Google. I don't know how else to describe it. It's just like the images there are a lot more, they're just better. They're a little bit more filtered. Because if you go to
Mhm.
Google, you'll just find whatever. But there's more and more anatomy resources coming out.
Yeah.
Like I saw somebody post like this freaking crazy like 3D anatomy website. I haven't checked it out 100%, but I was just like, dude, that's dope. You're living in a really good time. I'm saying, what I'm trying to say is there's no excuse, man. There's like plenty of resources, okay? Like when I had to buy books to get like really unique and interesting, and I think that's still true, right? Especially like I got like a lot of Chinese uh, anatomy books,
Mhm.
But that's my point. Like if you're thirsty for it, you're gonna be looking for it. You're gonna be looking for that water to drink from, those wells.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. It's just that hunger. Like you got to start somewhere, though, right? Like you just start somewhere, start looking, and then you say, "Well, what else is there?" And you just keep digging and keep digging and keep digging until you find that gold.
Mhm.
And even though you found that gold, you're like, "Well, where's platinum? Let's move on," you know. And
Yeah.
that's kind of how I've always approached my research gathering. It's like it's just this ongoing adventure, because your skill's additive, right? So the more you keep looking, the more you're adding to your knowledge and power.
Mhm. Got it.
Yeah, but for right now, there's some really good websites out there. Yeah, let me see if I can find that one that I was just talking about real quick, so I can put it into the chat for you guys.
Mhm.
But like I said, like my books helped me for a while, and I usually use Pinterest nowadays. If I go to Facebook,
Yeah, I usually go to PostSpace. I don't know if you know that website. They
yeah,
basically sell.
you probably know more than I do.
No, I was gonna ask if you ever used it, because I know that they sell a picture of like one pose, 360 degrees,
Yeah.
so you can get this pose from like every angle possible around.
So check out
They're like $5.
yeah, check out this site too.
That's awesome.
Hold on. Did they just make a? Oh, that's something else. Because I saw this on my buddy Gio's Facebook, and I was like, dope. I forgot. I didn't realize you could save stuff too, so I saved this video so I can come back to watch it later on Facebook.
You can save videos on Facebook.
Yeah,
Shoot.
and posts. So I've been saving people's posts and stuff now. I love Facebook, man. People hate it because they just listen to other people's stupid politics.
As long as you filter it, it's fine.
Yeah, just don't just don't respond to people's stupid comments. Just start following science and art stuff, and your Facebook will be full of science and art stuff or whatever interests you. Like I had a friend who's just, like so pissed. He's like, "God damn!" Like every time there would be a shooting. Oh yeah, but there you go. There's the site.
Yeah.
So like I didn't have this. This is clearly new. You know, like that whole mastication video where it talks about like the muscles of the head and how they work for chewing. Like you're gonna learn about that. Bet your ass. Um, anyways, like yeah, whenever there would be like a shooting here in America, um, people go crazy. I don't see any of that crazy though. Uh, I have a pretty strong stance on it, which is you fucking need to stop having guns in America. Like for real. Like some people are like, oh, we don't want to take your guns away. Like, no, I do. We don't need them.
Hmm.
But we're not going to get into that. And you'll never see me post it on Facebook because it's not important. Um, but my point is that like, yeah, you'll see like people talking about it, and they'll just like my friend will just like lost his mind once. He was just like, I can't believe I have people on my Facebook that think this way or whatever, right? And I was like, dude, just stop following them. You can still be your friends, or just don't respond to their comments. They're gonna say stupid stuff. Don't respond to it because every time someone comments it, right? Every time someone makes a message or posts a thing or a link or whatever in response to that post, you'll get to see it again, right? So you're just stuck in this vicious cycle of just ignorancy. And it's like, plus, like, just yeah, stop following those people if you really don't want to listen to them. You know, so they can still be your friend. They'll just have to call you now to hang out. You know, because people are allowed to have their opinions. And so, yeah, I told him that, and he did that. He went on purge his Facebook, and now he loves his Facebook. I was like, yeah, see, you gotta just do that purge. Well, and whenever I see people talk about uh, Facebook and people's Facebook comments and then they complain about it, I feel it's ironic because they're complaining about complaining. It's like, don't you get like you're feeling it? Have you ever like liked a video on Facebook and then almost following right after it, or even commented on something and following right after it, there's like a whole slew of videos that are related? You guys must have. If you haven't been paying attention to that,
Yeah.
start paying attention, and you'll start to see. And it goes back to my point. Facebook's only giving you what you click on, okay? So it's not Facebook. It's you, right? You're the one that want to engage in this conversation. So you need to, if you don't want to, then stay the fuck out of it, right? Like, so for instance, I remember there was that bombing in Syria, and there was an image of the kid, and I was like, oh, that sucks. And I clicked on it, and I watched the video, and I was like, ah, damn it. That sucks. And then I scrolled down, and guess what? There's more of it. I was like, oh, no, I don't want to know more. It sucks, but it's terrible. But, like, if you look, like, mine's pretty clear. It's, like, artwork from my friends and students, Skillshare, which is, like, other online schools and platforms so I can learn from. Video game stuff, artwork. I don't know what this is about. Artwork. See complaining posts, I don't respond to that. I just move on my life, right? Artwork,
Oh, nice.
artwork, artwork, news, funny hip hop videos. So here, check it out. So like, let me click on like just funny videos, vegan foods. Like it's clearly like me. This is like, yeah. Every once in a while my friends post videos. Like this is my buddy Dom posted this. That's fine. Olympic stuff, sure. 3D code stuff, artwork, baby stuff. Well, because I have friends who have babies. I don't get very much politics, do I? Very, very rarely. Oh, this is so cool.
Ah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really gross.
Oh, gee.
All right, so like if I click on this and I go back to this, like you'll see I guess on my phone it does this all the time. It's crazy. You'll just start seeing Overwatch stuff, like just all over the place. All right, but I don't want to do that now. I'm just trying to make it prove a point, but I guess it's not as provable on desktop. But on my phone, it happens all the time. But it's funny because even when I clicked off, it refreshed. I saw the refresh tab on my Facebook tab. Like it was like some algorithms are going on, man. You know. Same thing with YouTube. Like right now, I feel like I need to do a purge of my YouTube. I've been watching way too much PewDiePie. Like, sometimes you go on a binge, man. You go on a binge, and you start watching, you're like, dude, this guy's hilarious. And then
This new stuff is good.
yeah, and then I'm just like, all right, I don't really care though anymore about this PewDiePie stuff. I'm like, he's funny, man. Yeah, I was cracking up with some of this stuff. I was like, dude, this is really good.
It's like if you look at like iPod chargers on Amazon, and then every advert you see is about like iPod chargers.
Yeah. So I need to get it back to where it was before. It used to be like science stuff, like Minute Physics, Crash Course, stuff like that. So I need to get back.
Resource.
Yeah, I need to get it back to that. Like I don't mind like occasional like silly video of like a game. I love watching those. Those are just as fun for me. But it's just like I don't want that to be like right now. Like I was trying to watch something during the break and it was just nothing but PewDiePie videos. I was like, dude, what the hell? But I don't blame YouTube. I blame myself for watching so many for so often. It's not much fault of my own. So yeah, I mean, like same thing. Going back to the whole research, like you guys have these tools that will show you the things that will potentially keep you on track too, even on your distracted medias. If you don't watch distracting videos, then you will start to purge slowly, or evolve your Facebook or your Twitters or whatever into constructive social media tools, right? Usually whenever I'm on Facebook, it's usually inspiring. It's rarely like distracting, And so you can do that. Like you can make your YouTube, like right now my YouTube's distracting. It's just stupid stuff. And so I need to get it back to watching TED Talks, TED Ed stuff, get stuff that are relevant to my growth. Because it's still entertaining to me, right? It's still a distraction, but it's a good distraction, right? It's something that I'm learning from. But I think it's also good, again, like I said, not to always just work, have some play stuff too.
Yeah.
Because you need that contrast, the spice of life. It's just funny because I just started watching PewDiePie and it's like nothing but PewDiePie. I can see why so many people like him. A bunch of kids, but I can see why now.
Yeah. He's definitely changed his style though. His older stuff was not good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that I associated with him when I ever thought about it. But yeah, people get older. I can see that he's gotten much older. He's like wiser.
Which is really more like age 3, and all that stuff.
Any other questions?
I have a kind of 3D question, actually. How are you enjoying 3D Code? Because I've been kind of seeing you've been putting up more stuff on that.
How do I draw in 3D code? Or you mean how do
No, sorry. How have you been enjoying it?
Oh, I love it.
It looks pretty cool. Like it looks very different than like Blender and all that. Like very illustrated, very like poppy. It's very nice in general.
Yeah, it's really good. It's just it's made for artists. You can tell. And the tools in 3D Code make a lot of sense to me. They work a lot like Photoshop, and that's the biggest point of like my attraction to it. Like the tools and stuff work the way that I imagine they should work. Not all the time. Sometimes there's like weird stuff going on, but that's just true with every software. It's not perfect. But yeah, 3D Code is just really easy to get into. It's really, really easy 3D tool. I think, let me rephrase that. It's not entirely easy to get into. It's just like any other kind of software. It's not like 100% easy. But what I mean is that like in about 2 weeks of really getting in it and working with it, after 2 weeks of working with it, I was able to navigate through it relatively easily, and that's a really good thing that a program like that has. Is that like if you can get into it within moments of just using it, then you can start making art. You know, that's what's happened with me. And then once you can start making artwork, you just start making art, and then the more you do it, the better you get at it, right? Like we were talking about earlier. And now I'm just getting really good at it. Like right now, like I haven't found any tool to replace Photoshop as a painting tool because just Photoshop is the best. But my point is that if there is a tool that ever does replace Photoshop, I'm not afraid of replacing Photoshop. Because the tools don't make me, right? It's my know-how, it's all the stuff that I've learned. So I'm okay with replacing complete tools with new ones. A lot of people aren't because they get too used to. This kind of looks like a duck now. This guy, Duckman. I'm not opposed to this, but I kind of am at the same time. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna try to make him more ducky now. Just go with it. Adds more charm to it, actually. Alien mallard.
Looks like you lost a bet.
Well, this is the kind of stuff that makes things look iconic. So that's why I'm kind of doing it. I'm sticking with it. Anywho, yeah, I mean, try it out. I love it. 3D Code's good.
Awesome. Yeah, I was just curious. Thank you.
Anthony, good question about the assignment. By iterations,
it.
do you mean like try different costumes?
Yeah, that's probably
Like
the
new
best
costume?
example. Yeah, like think of like Overwatch, like how they have like the different skins and
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
stuff
definitely.
like that. But hold on, just a second. But at the same time, like I don't want you to make it like so extreme. Like don't change the theme. Like if
Yeah.
you're doing sci-fi, don't make it fantasy. That's not what I'm asking.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah,
So I'm not kind of changing the shape. I'm just changing
yeah,
the
totally.
kind of the skin.
Yeah, it's like a different outfit.
Okay.
It's kind of like
Got
what
it.
a lot
Okay.
of you guys did wrong the first round ago. Like you guys are just like having one character with different skins. Now if you're doing iterations, that's what you're doing.
Okay.
Like we're trying to find the best version of it, right? So think of it like as a funnel, right? In the beginning, we're just trying all kinds of shapes and sizes, and then as we're going, we're getting a little bit more focused, until we have the final drawing.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, so we're just trying to find the best version of that design. Is what I'm trying to say.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I've been practicing painting straight in color the last 2 years, and I think I'm getting better at it. And so I'm just going to keep doing it. I'll get really good at it. I saw these color paintings the other day that made me really inspired to do this more. And so yeah, I should just do this. I'm probably going to be doing this for the next month during the class. The reason why is because I feel I've gotten really good at understanding my values. And so color is one of those things that I'm reasonable at, but I want to try to master my color sensibility as well. So just like the advice I gave out earlier, my strategy is just do it. And using color the way that I've always imagined what color is, it's basically just an illusion. It's not like you can have a painting that doesn't have very strong values if you have really interesting colors. What I mean by this is that maybe I'm not pushing the form, but I'm pushing the design using colors. And I see this a lot in graphic design artwork. But if you're trying to make a believable image, then it's always your values. Your values are usually the problem. Okay, keep that in mind. But like right now, I'm just like seeing like how can I make an image with really extreme colors. But even this, like I already know, like even this doesn't have bad values. Like if I take the values into account, I already know it's not. I could tell by the way that the contrast hasn't burned my eyeballs on some of this stuff. Like I could tell that I have light and dark contrast, and I'm staying mostly mid-tone-ish. But I would have never been able to paint this color if I started in values, if that makes sense.
Mm.
You know? Or I wouldn't have considered it. And after like looking at, I think I was looking at some of Daniel's stuff too. Daniel Chavez is like, oh, that's right. Daniel's a beast. And Daniel also, like, he has a lot of strengths in his value. He's a really good painter. But it's all illusion. Like I'm approaching this using colors as the contrast, not values, which I usually do. Even though I still kind of have values in here as contrast. And I still kind of prefer values. But if I can master a new, or if I get better at another skill, the old skills get better too, you know? Like when I get better at 3D, my 2D gets better. Vice versa. For whatever reason, people think that if you start learning 3D, then your 2D is going to get worse. It's like, that's not how knowledge works. Knowledge is not a replacement thing. You don't replace one thing with another thing. If you stop doing something for a long period of time, it really takes a lot to forget a lot of it. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't played guitar actively for almost a decade probably, right? But I can still play guitar, you know? Like, if you gave me a guitar, maybe I won't remember every riff and every song that I was able to play back in the day, and I won't play it as good, but I won't start off as like a complete noob, you know? In fact, I'm sure if I gave myself a month to kind of get back into it, I'll probably be just back to where I was, you know? So you like, and that's like I said, going on to a decade of not like actually practicing, you know? So if you only go for like a month or 2 months without drawing or whatever, but you're like really knee deep in 3D, and then you go back to drawing, you're not gonna be like, what is this thing? What is this wake up head thing? What is this? No, you're gonna be smarter. You're gonna actually probably start seeing things in 3D a little bit better. You're gonna start understanding why your drawings don't have strong forms, because you've been working in a world of forms, you know?
Hey, Anthony, can I ask you another question?
Of course.
How do you usually approach your backgrounds? Because that's something I struggle with a lot. I often have just white background, and kind of, I don't know, annoying at this point.
As for
I
my
never know how to start.
As for my character concepts, I don't really care about it.
Mhm.
I don't worry about backgrounds. Backgrounds are not important for character design stuff.
What if you do? Actually, never mind.
Huh?
No, nothing. I was gonna ask illustrations. Like when do you do illustrations a lot?
Yeah. So if I'm doing illustration, then the background is part of the art. Then it's
Yeah.
like I don't just draw a character and then I draw everything. The illustration involves the background, then I draw the background as part of the thumbnails. You do everything in thumbnails, so you see the picture. If you don't have a drawing or an image of it in your thumbnail stage or in your sketch stage, then you're going to be struggling because you don't have any information to work with. So in a illustration, yeah, I'll basically illustrate everything, that is needed of me, including the background and environment. And getting to that, how to get better at backgrounds and environments. So backgrounds and environments are different from character concept art, and illustrations are also different from backgrounds, environments, and character illustration or character concept art. Sometimes illustrations, the art director or the people in charge will already give you designs for everything, and you don't really have to do anything other than just draw it cool, right? You know what I mean? Like, they might already have the main characters and the environment that they want the characters to be fighting in, and you just got to draw it, right?
Mm.
But a character designer, you have to make the character from ground up, and an environment, you have to make the environment from the ground up. Okay? But if you're doing an illustration that both involves creating it, the design of the environment, and the character, I just do everything all in the illustration. I just do thumbnails of illustrations of the environment and the character and the events and all that stuff as a black and white, like just like the thumbnail stuff I showed you guys. Just keep it really simple, keep it really graphic, and then try to keep my values that strong the whole way through as I add more detail to it, more texture. And anything that you're not good at, you got to get a lot of reference. So since I don't do a lot of illustrations, I look at a lot more like external reference. You know, like right now, for instance, I'm not looking at any reference. External reference, I'm relying mostly on my own. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But I've drawn like characters like this so many times. I've used colors like this so many times. You know, I'm just sharpening that blade that I already own. You know?
Yeah.
So don't be deceived. Don't be tricked into thinking that this is some magic. It's not. It's just a lot of effort. Right? And so, yeah, if I was doing an illustration, remember, like, there's usually 2 reasons why you suck at something. Okay? 1, you don't know enough. You don't have enough knowledge. Okay? And then 2, you're not skilled enough, which means you haven't put enough practice and time into really learning it. Okay? A good example of someone who's knowledgeable, not skilled, would be like a surgeon. Like a surgeon will know anatomy, but they're not able to draw it as good as some of the best anatomy artists, right?
Mm-hmm.
They'll draw it better than a novice because they'll know more than just someone that doesn't know anything about what's going on behind the scenes of our body, right? But they're not going to be able to draw it like some of these amazing figure artists, right? Because those figure artists have trained both the knowledge and the skill. And then vice versa, just because I know that if you do 100 push-ups a day that you're probably going to get stronger with your push-ups, you're going to get stronger chest and shoulders and triceps, right? Like, that's knowledge. I know that. It's a fact. But if I don't do any push-ups, I'm not going to get stronger chests, shoulders, and triceps, am I? Do you see the point?
Yeah.
So, like, if you're saying, okay, I have a hard time with backgrounds, ask yourself, how many times have you done backgrounds? How much do you know about backgrounds? Right?
Mm.
And the answer should be very clear. The answer should be 100% clear to you, like right now. You don't even have to, there's no magic answer, right? It's like really very, very, very clear. And usually, like, whenever I teach, I find myself reminding you guys how clear it is, you know? Because I think you guys forget. Yeah. Like, you guys think, oh, man, is there like a magic button, AJ? Fortunately, no, there's not. There is a magic button. The magic button is time and effort. All right, so now that's the whole teaching you how to fish, right? To get you in the right mindset. Now, how do you get better? Like, what is the meat and potatoes then of environments? You need to understand scale and perspective. Scale and perspective is like the anatomy in proportions for characters in terms of just the foundational drawing, okay? Like the drawing it well part. Getting scale right, like making mountains look far, you know? Getting buildings to look like they're receding to a horizon line, right? That's stuff that if you don't get right, people can spot it, right? Just like anatomy. Like if you don't know anatomy or proportions, people can spot that you don't know that, right? And then on the designer aspect of it, very similar to characters, is like, is it interesting? But the thing about environments, like with the characters, is it a character I want to play? Is it a character I want to be? Is it armor that I want to wear? Kind of questions, right? Environments is like, is that a place I want to go? Is it a place where I want to fight? Is it a place where I want to explore? So those are more of like the practical like how to get better at them on a practical level. Perspective and scale, like those are the things I see people struggle with the most, right? And then is the place that you're actually drawing interesting? Like, did you just draw mountains and call it concept art? Because I don't want to go see fucking mountains like that. We have that in real life. There's better places in real life than your concept art, of just mountains. But it's like a cool fucking mountain with like this like crazy like pendulum that's as big as a sailboat. It's like going like 100 miles an hour. I want to get close to that and look at that, because I know that doesn't exist other than in this world that you've created. Right? There's no world where this duck man lives. Actually, that's not true. I'm sure there's a parallel universe where this guy exists. A whole race of people look like this. If you believe in the multi-universe theory, which I does. It does. It only makes sense.
I was wondering about job applications, especially cover letters and things like when you're actually sending out your kind of resume and portfolio and stuff. Like, basically, how the hell do you do cover letters good?
Just don't sound like an asshole, I guess. I don't know. I don't have an answer, really. I've only done a few cover letters, and it's always been formalities. It's like, you got the job, but because we're like a big company, and that's something that we need to have on a record, it's just silly. I don't think cover letters work. I think it's a stupid HR thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's always been my kind of thinking on them, which is why I always struggle so much with them.
Yeah, just go online, find a really good one, copy paste most of it. Maybe go to like find a few of them and then just replace. Or if you're gonna write a personal one, then just don't be a dick. Just be like I think one cover letter I literally just copy pasted online.
So basically, it doesn't matter too much.
I don't think so, because if they're gonna hire you, that's already been established.
Yeah.
Cover letter is
That's
not
what
going to change
That's
it.
what I was kind of hoping.
Yeah, cover.
Cool.
I mean, like unless like I said, unless your like cover letter is clearly like some racist friend.
Yeah.
Like I don't like to work with blacks. I don't like to work with whites. I don't like to work with reds. They're like, what the? I'm not sure if this guy is actually racist, but I like it. Bring him in. But he said he also likes to work half naked. I don't know why he put this in his cover letter. This is a very bizarre thing to be putting in your cover letter. Yeah, I mean, that's just like such a school academia thing. It's like a scholarly type of like for like a job, if that makes sense, type of attitude. And it's just so stupid. No, people don't hire cover letters. People hire people. Usually the physical or the phone interview is enough information for the employer to know whether they're going to hire you or not, Cover letter is not going to make that big of a difference, I don't think. I could be wrong. There could be places that like the cover letter is everything. But I think I feel very confident to say that as concept artists, cover letter is the least most important thing you can worry about. Okay? I think the most valuable thing that you can do for your career is have good artwork. Have good artwork and don't be a dick.
Good.
Yep. All right, guys. We'll stop the class here. Great work as always, guys. Keep up the good stuff. Can't wait to see you guys' work as you progress. I'm going to bounce out. I'm going to render this video for you guys and send you the link as soon as it's ready.
Cool, thank you.
Awesome, thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so
Thanks.
much.
Yeah, peace out, guys. Have a good
class.
weekend. Work hard.
Bye, everyone.
With each other.
Have a good weekend, everyone.
All right.
Yeah, me too.
Latest.